Okay, let's move over into what we see going on with the hatred of God, the hatred of God's people, the hatred of God's land, the hatred of Jews, the hatred of the church, the hatred of all that and above. And let's start with what's going on as far as the Jewish people. With there it is. So this comes from February 15th. It says FBI arrests Indiana man over threats to kill every Jew, but didn't tell the Jewish community about him. So they knew about him, but they didn't warn the people that he was threatening. Isn't that courteous? So it says the FBI arrested an Indiana man who promised to kill every Jew in Fort Wayne last year. And local Jewish leaders are questioning why they weren't alerted to the threat sooner. The suspect, 41-year-old Jeffrey Stevens, admitted in interviews that he had posted violent anti-Semitic threats directly to the website of the CIA. This is where I start questioning, is this a psyop of some type? Is this one of their guys gone rogue? I have questions. Either way, it's still the event that's going on. As well as in Facebook direct messages to the Fort Wayne Police Department, according to newly released affidavit. Stevens also wrote to the CIA, I'm going to, I got to try and censor this because the platform on, he's going to do things to end pro-Israel U.S. government officials. I got to be careful here. And boasting having strong Palestinian, Hezbollah, and Iranian contacts. Again, I start to question the validity of if this dude's working on his own. But again, we live in a society where it's hard to tell now. You just never know. It says he is charged with communicating a threat to interstate commerce and faces a maximum of 5 years in prison. Goes on to say the arrest on Tuesday came amid reports of rising anti-Semitism in the United States as the Israel-Hamas war extends into its 5th month. Since Hamas' October 7th invasion of Israel, American Jews have been attacked on college campuses, in their homes, on their way to the synagogues, and one Jewish man in LA died after an altercation at a street protest. I'm sure everybody heard or even saw the video of that. In that time, the FBI has made other arrests in connection with anti-Semitism, but no warnings are apparently being given to those who are being directly threatened by these things. So we understand this is definitely going to be part of what we see going on. Israel is going to continue to stand alone. The Jews are going to continue to, en masse, head back to their land that God has given to them, God's land. And this is going to continue to get worse. But again, we're looking at this where we're seeing things where it's, where is it? Lovers of their own selves and despisers of those that are good, lovers of pleasure more than God. We're seeing more of the mindset of, even though this is what God has said about these people, the hatred continues to grow towards them. And it doesn't matter, again, I hear this all the time, oh, that's the leftists. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. Go on to some of the right-sided stuff, Zero Hedge, Gateway Pundit, or any of the other ones out there. Read the comments. It's constant blaming of Jews and Zionists. It's from both sides. It's the hearts of men of today growing colder to God and his word as well as his people. And it's growing ever stronger, right or left. This veil of politics is so blown out of proportion now. It kind of irritates me because it's on both sides. It is on both sides, period. And so again, we see the hatred of God not only towards his people and the Jews and whatnot, but we also see the hatred that's carrying over to the church as well. And we see an increase in the attacks in churches. 800% increase in 6 years. Some of y'all are asking, when is the persecution of the church coming? I'd stop asking that question. It's on the way. It's on the way. at least here in the United States. We're seeing the persecution of the church in other places of the world. Be praying every single day for the Christians in places like Nigeria and in China and in North Korea. They are getting you just don't want to know. Be praying for them. It's coming here, guys. It's coming here. It's like, during the winter storm, when you saw some of the churches on their billboards, they put the thing, whoever's praying for snow, please stop. Well, for those who keep asking the question of when the persecution of the church here in the United States is coming, please stop asking that question. It's on the way. So it goes on to say, if you believe anti-Christian attacks have skyrocketed over the last decade, you're right. Attacks on churches have increased 800% in less than 6 years, and more than doubled over the last year, according to a new report released today by the Family Research Council. Documented acts of anti-church hostility included attempted, I got to be careful here, guys, explosions, pew-pew things, satanic vandalism, and numerous attacks based on anti-Christian bias due to support for abortion or quote-unquote extreme transgender ideology. Some constituted unpunished election interference. We're not even going to open that can of worms. The report identified 915 acts of hostility against churches between January 18 and November of 23, including 700 in vandalism, 135 attempted arsons, 32 explosion threats, 22 pew-pew incidents, 61 other incidents, including assault, threats, and interruption of worship services. Here we go. Let's get the drastic numbers here. And the report that shows that church attacks and acts of violence continued to explode in 2023. During the first 11 months of last year, researchers verified at least 436 acts of hostility against U.S. churches, more than double the number of attacks in all of 2022. Now it goes on, and here's the increase. 50 acts of hostility against churches. This is all encumbering all of them. 50 acts of hostility against churches in 2018, 83 in 2019, 55 in 2020, 96 in 2021, 195 in 2022, 436 in 2023. In a year, it went from 195 to 436. This is not including the recent attacks on Jewish homes and synagogues. So this is just for the churches. This is just those who despise good, those who despise God, and those who are just selfishly going about what they want and believe. This is just surrounding the world. This is the hearts of men acting against these churches, acting against these Jews, acting against Israel altogether.